Good morning. Welcome to our Wednesday morning thought for today. And as always, can I remind you about our prayer meeting tonight, 7:30 on Zoom. I was really encouraged last week to see more people coming along. It's great to think that we still are adding to our numbers and people are still coming. Now, I appreciate some people are only getting in from work, and maybe by the time they get their dinner and etc., they're maybe just not in the right mood to come to a prayer meeting or whatever. But I would encourage you, if you can, to set that time aside. It really lasts for no more than an hour, sometimes a little bit shorter than an hour, but I would encourage you, if you can, come along. You can just sit and listen and just quietly pray. We're not asking anyone to speak out or to say anything that makes them feel uncomfortable in any way, but it's just so great seeing the screen filling up with faces. People wanting to be together. So thank you for those who came along for the first time, perhaps last week, and we look forward, God willing, to seeing hopefully you coming along to our prayer meeting tonight, 7:30. The link will be up on our church WhatsApp chat today. So this morning we're looking at these two words that Jesus used for the first two sets of fishermen, and then for the second set of fishermen, but also for Levi or Matthew in today's reading. So we read verses 13 and 14 again of Mark chapter 2. He says, "He went out," that's Jesus, "beside the sea, and all the crowd was coming to him, and he was teaching them. And as he passed by, he saw Levi the son of Alphaeus sitting at the tax booth, and he said to him, 'Follow me.' And he rose and followed him." Now that's a very interesting point, because we read that as he was walking along, he saw Levi, and you could almost read it as if Jesus is going, "Oh, there's Levi," and he walks up to Levi and has this conversation. But as I've mentioned already on these last 2 days, I believe certainly Jesus was intentional in calling Levi, that he went looking for him. And it was just a case of, by the time he'd come to that part of his conversation, that part of his teaching with the crowd, Levi was there. And so he saw Levi and then went off towards Levi and then had this 2-word conversation with him. Now, we don't know. We are supposing that perhaps there was other conversation. Jesus said, "You know who I am." And Levi said, "Yeah, I know who you are. I've heard about you." And the conversation went on like that. Now, you could, if you wanted, assume that, but I don't think that's necessarily what happened. I think Jesus walked up towards Levi, and as he walked up towards him, Levi or Matthew lifted his eyes from what he was doing, maybe counting his money or writing down things. And as he looked at Jesus, there was this connection where he suddenly realized, I know who this man is, and I know why he's coming towards me. And all of a sudden, everything became clear. All of a sudden, everything in Levi's life became very, very real, and he suddenly realized, this is something which I have to deal with. Now, Jesus walks up to him. We're told he says these 2 words, "Follow me." And at saying those 2 words, then Levi, we told, gets up and follows him. And he rose and followed him. He got up and just went after him. Now, these words, "follow me," that Mark uses this phrase and this word "follow" 19 times in his gospel. And every time he uses it, he's using it in a reference to a believer, someone who is following Jesus or accepted Jesus and has decided to go after him. It's never used in a sense that somebody who didn't accept Jesus, a non-believer, decided to follow him. So the word that's used is a very specific word. It's a word which in a sense is synonymous with faith. In other words, instead of saying he followed Jesus, you could almost say he faithfully went after Jesus. And that means that at some point, something clicked in Levi's head and his heart and said, what I'm doing, I have to stop. Where I'm going is all changed. I am not the same person. I have got to do something completely different. I'm going off in a completely different direction from the one I thought I was going to at the start of the day. So this word is such a heavy word. It means, in a sense, it means to sort of count the cost. There's a sense of risk even involved in it. That when the people followed Jesus, they didn't do it just because they believed something or because they maybe allowed this sort of thought to go through their mind. No, this idea of follow me and this idea of following is so heavy that it basically means that they gave up everything of themselves and took on this burden, this cross that Jesus was carrying, and went with him. That's how big it was. They forsook their own life. They forsook their own plans. What they had planned to do that afternoon didn't matter. What they had planned to do the rest of their life didn't matter, because the compulsion to follow Jesus was so strong. Now you have to wonder to yourself, how could Matthew, in those few seconds, suddenly go from being a tax collector to a disciple? Because that's what happened. He changed completely. And you know, friends, that's what has to happen in our lives. Whenever Jesus calls us, we have to give up everything and follow him. We don't know what he's going to ask us to do or where he's going to ask us to go. We don't know what it's going to cost us. But if we truly understand Jesus' call to follow him, then we will do that. We will follow him completely and utterly, because he is such a perfect person. We want to be associated with him. We want to trust him. We want to go with him into whatever that future holds. So if you've said, yes, Lord, I will follow you, I hope you're still following after with that same determination, that same zeal. Follow me. 2 simple words, and yet it meant so very much. Have a good Wednesday. Hopefully see you tonight at the prayer meeting. God bless.